Okay, are you ready? Okay.
I've got my 4. We're all here. No. Oh. Nobody wants to come. We're gonna have so much fun tonight.
We're going to have such a quick time
Okay.
tonight.
Welcome to the Tuesday, April 25th, 2023 Garrison Board of Education regular business meeting and BOCES budget vote. All right, Dusty, will you do the roll, please?
Jocelyn Apicello.
Excused.
David Gelber.
Here.
Courtney McCarthy.
Here.
Kent Schott.
Here.
Matthew Spicer.
Excused.
Sarah Tormey.
Here. Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Next, I have accept agenda changes. Does anyone have any recommended changes to this evening's agenda? Okay. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby accept the agenda as presented. May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Nays, abstentions. Okay, President's remarks. I don't really have anything this evening, other than I know we have Spring Thaw coming up with the Garrison Children's Education Fund. It's their big fundraiser of the year. We also have the Garrison Children's Education Fund on the agenda later on for accepting their donations. So this is how they raise the money to help support our program. So hopefully many of us will be able to attend and hope to see the community there as well. That's all I've got. We're gonna keep this brief tonight. Carl?
Okay, I was going to also mention a big thank you to GCEF. I'm sure the board has had an opportunity to look at the list of donations. It's something that we're formally accepting, but yoga, trips, supplemental education, enhancement for arts and performing arts, our spring musical. It is a very long list. So we are just very grateful to GCEF for all that they do for us, and we look forward to that, continuing that partnership. The only other thing I'll mention is we have a lot of spring events, and they're very exciting here at the school. We do have a new security system that is fully functional. Please bear with us. When we have groups, it was a little slow a couple of times, just having people move through the new Raptor system, visitor pass system, but we are coming up with more efficiencies. And we will make sure for upcoming events that we move people in and out. But it is important that we all follow the rules of one single point entry and exit for the building. It keeps all of our children and staff safe. So we thank you for your patience. And that's all.
And the GCEF grants included the wonderful pollinator garden that was recently opened. I went to that on
Yes,
yesterday.
Monday.
That was just yesterday.
Monday was the grand opening, yes.
Which I don't know if anyone else was there, but Rachel Arbor and Sarah Stevenson did a lovely little ceremony. The children's read haikus and planted, spread mulch. So it was an exciting event. So thank you to GCEF for that as well.
Yes.
All right. Anything else? Any questions for Carl? All right. Next up, we have board communications and presentations. So we have a discussion of the facilities use fee schedule. Just to present this for reference, we have adopted a new fee schedule September 21st. That sets the rates for using the buildings, the district's facilities, including $75 for this room, which is the Learning Commons. The gymnasium is also $75 per use. Currently, classrooms are set at $25, and the outside fields are set at $50. There are also terms and conditions listed, which you all have in your packets. The reason we're bringing this forth again is that the Phillipstown Little League put forth a request to use the outdoor field. They're looking for use every day. And that fee schedule that we set is beyond their means to pay. They are a local nonprofit, so we're looking to see if we can work with them and come up with a different fee schedule based on what it really costs us to run that field. So that's what we're here to discuss tonight. We can modify it now. I don't have a resolution set on here. If we wish to change the fee structure, we can do that tonight, or we can wait.
How much demand is there to run our facilities?
I'm going to turn that one over to Joe
So far,
as Director of Facilities.
we only have had requests from the CYO and from Phillipstown for the Little League as the only entities that have requested to use the fields or the building.
And just for clarification, CYO did rent the gym throughout the winter, and we received some good income on that. It's like
Yeah.
$3,000, right?
Closer to 5.
Closer to 5, wow.
How frequently were they here?
They were here every Sunday for a while, and so we had to staff it as well. So that was
So I brought this to the table. Full transparency, I'm not an unbiased observer. I just walked off a Little League field about 20 minutes ago. So basically, the quote for Phillipstown Little League to use the athletic field below for practices for minor players, little like 8, 9-year-old coach pitch type thing was about $3,500. And they had never paid to use that field before. And it's not really within their budget. So I would like to bring a resolution. It's not formal, I guess. I don't know how to, or have a discussion, then possibly just consider a resolution to not charge them. In looking at the rest of the community, Haldane does not charge them for the use of their field over at the high school. I think when we did this, I don't think we had a very robust discussion and really considered some of the impact of this. So I don't really think $50 per practice on a field that there's no incremental cost to use is probably an appropriate fee. I would like to probably have a more robust discussion this summer and consider not charging them, as Haldane doesn't charge them for this season. They weren't prepared to pay any fee. And then we can figure out whether charging them is appropriate going forward from there, would be my thought on this. If we do choose to charge them or keep that fee, they just simply won't use the field. They'll have to find somewhere else. So it's not that we're passing up revenue, there won't be any revenue.
Is there a certain amount that, I don't know if you know the answer to this, that Little League could pay? And I say that because a question for Joe would be, as facilities, is using the field every day for the next, I think it's like 6 weeks or something. I would imagine there would be some wear and tear on the field and something that.
They put on there that they want to use it, they want to be able to use it every day.
Have
I don't know if
access
they're
to it.
actually going to use it every day.
And the other thing that's in the policy or the rules and regulations, is that what it is? Garrison area community organizations or groups who do charge for participation may rent district facilities. Basically, for what I understand, and then Garrison area community organizations may use district facilities without rental fee, providing they do not charge for participation in the activity or admission to the performance and games. I would imagine all the families, the kids who are part of Little League, are charging a fee. So I would also, whatever we agree to, whether tonight or at the next meeting, I would also think that that should be something that should go back to Little League to say, okay, perhaps they need to up their fee to cover some costs that they weren't expecting, and I understand, like, kids have already started. You can't just go back to families and be like, ask for more money, but that would definitely be something that's more on the Little League side, or any organization.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can have this further discussion about this policy overall. It's my opinion that for recreational nonprofits in the community, whether they charge or not, if we're not having incremental costs related to having them use our facility, we should consider not charging them. I mean, I know CYO we do charge for, but that's opening a gym, heat, cleaning the gym. Down there is just, the softball team uses it, and then maybe kids running around for a couple hours. There could be some wear and tear. I would guess that would probably be pretty limited, but
So how frequently would you expect the fields to be used?
I would say 2 to 3 times a week is more accurate, probably.
And Haldane does not charge for, and are there Garrison kids who use the Haldane field?
Yes.
And I assume that there are Cold Spring kids who use.
Yeah,
who use our-
the Phillipstown Little League is all of Phillipstown, so kids from Garrison and Cold Spring.
I mean, the only, frankly, I mean, it seems, I don't feel strongly at all about charging for it, but the only thing I would suggest is that maybe there could be some understanding that an evaluation might be made at the end of the season about wear and tear, or maybe some commitment that you guys are gonna leave it at least in the shape that it came in, or maybe a little bit better.
Maybe a flat fee for the use for the 6 weeks, so that there is some payment for the wear and tear on the fields. But a one-time flat fee might be more in line with what you're saying.
Especially since they're asking for, technically on the form, they're asking for 7 days a week, but in reality, they're only
Well,
gonna
and
use
I-
it
I
a
would
couple
like the form to
times.
reflect what they're gonna use, so that we can then open it up for use to other organizations, should they wish to use it. Because I do know fields are in high demand. I mean, I looked at all the other ones, Putnam Valley's charging, $50 per hour to use their fields. I understand their fields are in better condition
Yeah, I mean, we
perhaps
don't
than
line
ours.
these fields or maintain them outside of mowing them, so it's not.
Is there a incremental cost, Joe, do you think, to use the field
Well,
for
I
wear and
think-
tear?
The more you use it, the more you will have to maintain it, but it isn't isn't a regulation field that we use for games or anything, so it's, we're talking about, maintaining the level of the dirt and keeping it mowed, so, there isn't a lot.
Where does the softball team play their games?
They play their
Oh,
games
okay.
at Haldane.
I know in years past, they've had games there before, but that was,
So I'm wondering if for this season, we could ask for like a contribution towards the upkeep of the fields for the 6 weeks of use. Something in the ballpark. Let me know if my number, like $100, $200 is a minimal fee just for 6 weeks of use of fields. Acknowledging that, we're not in the same position that Haldane is in terms financially, in terms of preserving everything either. Would we be comfortable with that? Do we want to waive it? What are we thinking? There's only 4 of us here tonight, so we got to get an agreement if we're going to pass something. And I understand that Little League wants to get going, so I would prefer actually to try and reach an agreement with the 4 of
I don't want
us
to punish the kids.
and get them, I have a resolution we can drop on here.
I don't
So,
want to do anything that would discourage them from using those fields. I mean, I really don't.
Okay.
And it seems to me that, we're kind of like all family here. I mean, it's like, I don't know that we have to be legalistic about this. I think that we would just have an understanding that if there is any kind of wear and tear to the field, or if you guys feel at the end of the season that you ought to do something to make it a little bit better than it was before you got it, or at least as good, that I would expect that you would, we're friends, we're family. I just can't see making a money demand. I mean, I can convey the expectation that you would leave it the way you found it or better. That's all.
I don't have any reason to believe they wouldn't, honestly. It's not, they're not playing games there, really. It's just little kids running around, probably not with cleats even, so, yeah. I would side with David, but again, I'm not an unbiased observer here.
I could go either way. I think we certainly, after all of our budget conversations, we've certainly made the point that revenue certainly helps, but $100 is not going to. Joe, is $100 going to change the future of the school?
But I think it also, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It sets why don't we just have an understanding among this broad community, family, whatever, that if there are any problems with it, you're going to take care of it. That's all I need.
I mean, I know that if there were a problem, they would come and fix it. There's no question about that.
All right, then, in the interest of getting them playing this season and seeing as we seem to have some agreement, I think we should revisit this while looking at all the schedules of fees for the other districts in the summer. But then let's get them playing for this season. We will waive the fees on the field. I would feel more comfortable if we do this in a way where we waive the fees for organizations in which, 50% or more are Garrison kids. I know that there's entire teams that are Garrison kids in this Little League right now. So it really is the kids. That's just so that if another school district or organization were to come in and be like, well, your fields are free, we make it so that it's a clear line in the sand, that it's really just for the organizations that our kids are a part of.
And that's not uncommon. You see that in a lot of the agreements if you look around, that there's.
I mean, you're
there's
not going to get 50% Garrison kids just because Phillipstown is not 50% Garrison, but there are Garrison kids throughout.
So maybe the language should be in which Garrison district students participate in the program.
Like when they play when they advance to the Little League World Series, they have to go to school at Garrison or Cold Spring or have some kind of other so. I know Carl he has to sign the forms for these kids, and so it's definitely, there's documentation.
So that would be the only stipulation. It's just so, because the field use policy, when we put it out there, is if we put it out as it's zero, then anyone can come and ask for it for nothing. So it really should be marked out as just for our kids.
Agreed.
I think that makes a lot of
Is there any
sense.
reason to believe that other communities would want to use that field?
No, but
that
I
there'd be other
have been
requests?
hearing that fields are in high demand in other areas around here. So if it becomes, an issue, if we haven't put the language in, I'd rather put the language in now while we're talking about it so that we don't have to revisit it, backing into it, saying, well, now suddenly everyone's realized that it's a great place to come practice. Just in case. I don't think we've ever had demand from anyone else, so.
We can include that language, I have no problem with that.
How does that affect what I'm reading?
So I have something else I jotted down.
All right.
Can I just, may I just read it
Yes.
for everyone? Okay. My chicken scratch. Okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District does hereby waive the facilities use fee for the spring 2023 season for the Phillipstown Little League organization.
I think that gets to what we're looking for. Everyone in agreement? Okay. All right.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nays, abstentions. I also will add that I agree with David. If Phillipstown Little League wishes to make a contribution at the end of the season towards the field use, and then we could all revisit it this summer, that would be great. All right. Next up, I have discuss and designate the NYSSBA liaison. Madeline was our NYSSBA liaison. That's why this is on here. She's no longer with us. We have received the resolutions packet. Now, Dusty, I'm going to ask for your guidance on this. This is, if we wish to, as a district, propose a resolution, they need to receive it by July 14th.
Correct.
So we would need someone who wants to spearhead that initiative. We did put forth a resolution last year, I don't know if y'all remember it, on safe storage. We could look to put that one forth again, but again, we would want somebody leading that charge. We don't have everyone here tonight, so we can also hold off on this unless somebody's dying to take this
Well, we
on.
could nominate Jocelyn for it, couldn't we?
What's the date of our reorg meeting? Reorg meeting is the 12th. Oh, yeah, of July. Okay.
Yeah. Anybody excited about being the NYSSBA liaison?
So the requirement, then it's attending the meeting virtually on Monday, the
So-
16th?
we will have a new NYSSBA liaison possibly at the reorg. This is just to get the resolutions through, should we wish to do a resolution. So what we're looking for here is somebody to gather any recommended resolutions, look at them, put them forth, which is what Madeline, I think Matt worked with her. We could nominate Matt. He's not here either.
I nominate Matt.
Good writer.
Matt did a great job last time. So I'll talk to Matt about that, and I think we should put forth Matt. Good plan. Maybe he's going to be here next time, probably after that. No, I'll speak with Matt about that. I agree he would be a logical choice, seeing as he worked on the wordsmithing of the last one last time, and see if he's willing to do it just for those few months until the reorg when we look at somebody. All right.
want to revisit this at the next meeting?
I think we should revisit it.
Okay.
I mean, we can go forth and nominate him tonight, but I want him to show up to the next meeting, not be that mad. All right.
We're coming for you.
Next, I'm going to keep going here. All right. BOCES administrative budget vote and board election. All right. I'm going to read the recommended action, then we're going to have discussion here. Whereas the Board of Cooperative Educational Services of Putnam Northern Westchester County, therein BOCES, has proposed its tentative administrative budget for the 2023-2024 school year, July 1st, 2023 through July 30th, 2024. Now therefore be it resolved that the BOCES tentative administrative budget for the 2023-2024 school year in the amount of $10,999,870 be and hereby is approved by the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
All right, I'm going to speak to this a little bit. Just to clarify, it's a big number I read out. That is their budget. We are one of many districts contributing to this.
That's correct.
We're not approving that much money. And then we all have a pamphlet here, the budget pamphlet for BOCES. The reason we're meeting on a Tuesday, for fun fact, is because every district is voting on this budget tonight in the state for their BOCES. Does anyone have any questions on the pamphlet? Anything you want to share?
Yeah, well, I would just say, I think one of the most important things, we do use BOCES services. They do a fantastic job. And I want to say on behalf of the district, we appreciate, they're very mindful that we're in a tax cap environment. And on the first page, they do show how over a 6-year period, they have worked very hard to stay within the tax cap. So in other words, the fees are increasing, for example, next year at 1.9%. So under that 2% tax cap. And as a district that is facing some financial challenges, we've looked at many areas that were increasing at a much faster rate than we could raise revenue. So at least this is some comfort in that our BOCES expenses will not outpace our ability to raise money under the cap. So I think that's a good thing. As far as the quality of the services, Putnam Northern Westchester is outstanding. We access them for so many things, and especially being a smaller district, whether it's professional development, administrative supports, special education programs. I mean, there's a wide range of things, but they are invaluable to us.
I'm just curious to know, this year, what's been the major contribution of Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES to our functioning?
Joe, can you speak a little bit to some of the areas that, where we basically spend the most in
Yeah, well,
services?
I think one of the special education services is big. We do use a lot of their behavior services and stuff that's through special education. We do use the health and safety. We use we use a lot of our technical software and things. It comes from either this BOCES or Southern Westchester BOCES through the RIC. So there's a number of of things that we use from the BOCES, from the professional development through basically everything we do has some piece of it.
And the biggest benefit is that we get the percentage
30%
back,
back,
30
yes.
plus % back on everything. So like when we did the remote learning, we did that through BOCES in order to get the kickback at the end, which is very helpful. And when they buy, I know this came up when we were talking about software, when they buy the software, they get a better rate because they're buying for so many districts than we could get if we went out as one individual little district and said, we want to buy this.
Right, and the other thing that it does for us is by participating in a BOCES that fits in all of our purchasing requirements. So BOCES, if you buy services from BOCES, they're exempt from bidding and all those things because that's done within BOCES. So, it's very helpful.
So, does anyone have any further questions?
vote these budgets down?
I would hope not, but
I was
I
just
don't
curious.
know.
like,
I haven't
is
watched,
this- is
I haven't
just
watched
practice
closely
just
enough.
a formality of kind of like a procedural?
Yeah, not in my experience. It's possible that that's happened. Probably, if anything, people objecting to costs that, we're outpacing their budgets. But again, we're very fortunate that they've really maintained cost control.
I think ours in particular has done that. I know across the river, they've seen some increases in their BOCES costs comparatively to ours. But if you're volunteer, you can go watch all the other meetings for tonight and see, and let me know. I mean, it could be fun.
I'll take that under advisement.
Any other questions on this? All right, I'm going to go ahead then. We have a motion on the table, so we're going to go move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Nays? Abstentions? That brings me to the election of the Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES board members. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District cast its vote for the following candidates to fill 3 vacancies on the Putnam Northern Westchester Board of Cooperative Educational Services for 3-year terms commencing July 1st, 2023 and expiring June 30th, 2026. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. So they have 3 candidates for 3 slots. The board candidates are listed below. We have one from Carmel, one from Brewster, and one from Briarcliff Manor. You have their bios and resumes all listed in the packet. If you have any questions.
Only a question similar to what Kent just asked about the budget is if, I always remember voting for the same number of candidates as there are vacancies. How do they narrow it down? What if there were 4 candidates for 3 vacancies?
My sense from the emails I've seen is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is all a service these board members are electing to do in addition to their board service. So it's.
There aren't always-
These are your Uber
Got it.
volunteers, and they're lucky they found 3 who are this committed to
Got it.
board service, similar to,
Garrison School Board?
yeah. Yeah. It's, they're just individuals who are very committed to school boards and willing to put in a lot of time. A lot of these members, based on the resumes, have extensive experience and have done this before.
Yeah.
So. Unless anyone has,
Comrade Stalin would be very proud that we're following his non-competitive election procedures.
all right, on that note, let's move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Brings me to public comment. Public comment is intended for members of the community to speak openly and voice concerns in accordance with Policy 1510 of the Garrison Union Free School District. Any person wishing to speak shall comply with all provisions of this policy. Comments about specific school personnel or individual students is a violation of board policy. Concerns regarding students or personnel should be discussed privately with the superintendent or appropriate administrator. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes, and speakers are asked to conduct themselves in a respectful manner. The board will listen to comments but will not engage in dialogue. Any necessary follow-up will be noted and provided through the appropriate channel. Members of the public wishing to comment during board meetings are asked to place their name and town of residence on the sign-in sheet. Commenters commenters will be invited to the podium to address the board. I don't have anyone on my sign-in sheet, so I'm going to keep going. We'll have another public comment later in the evening. Accepting the minutes. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby accept the minutes of the regular meeting of April 12th, 2023 as presented. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
Anyone have any questions or comments on the minutes as presented? Okay. In favor, please say aye. Aye. Nays, abstentions. Okay, next we have accept treasurer's report and claim audit report. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby accepts the treasurer's report for March 2023 and the claims audit report for March 2023 as presented. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Do you have any questions on the treasurer's report or the claims audit report? Just note that the claims auditor is one position that does report directly to the board. And I was just pleased to see that our current claims auditor has caught some of the checks that were in different amounts and made sure those issues were resolved, so. Okay. All right, then. Go ahead and move to a vote if there's no questions or comments on that. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Nays, abstentions. All right, next we have the request for approval to amend employment agreement, District Treasurer. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, hereby approves the agreement of the terms and conditions of employment for Genevieve Mulhare, District Treasurer, and further authorizes the superintendent and board president to execute said agreement and ratifies and approves the payment of money contained therein. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. Carl, did you want to speak to this one briefly?
Sure, just a few things. You may recall Genevieve started with us about 3 years ago. This position was created to make sure we had separation of responsibilities within the business office. Our auditors did recommend it. She's been doing outstanding work. She had many years of experience with the State Comptroller's Office performing audits. She's been invaluable to us. Now, the treasurer is an annual appointment. You will see this appear on the reorg meeting agenda, and that's required by law to appoint your treasurer every year. This is really the terms and conditions of employment, her benefits, her compensation, and what I did is we took her last agreement and I highlighted for the board changes. So Genevieve, to be consistent with the other admin unit agreements that we changed last year and with our two unions, roughly she's receiving a 3% raise each year for the next 3 years is the recommendation. In exchange for that, though, her health contribution rate will go up. It's 16% next year, 17% the following year, 18% the year after. Also, she will be paying in retirement, if she chooses to use our benefits in retirement, the same rate that she is paying as an active employee, she will continue to pay into retirement. So those are changes that we've sought with our collective bargaining units. Our admin team has already agreed to this. This is consistent with the rest of the district. And again, her work is very, very high quality. And Joe, if Joe works directly with Genevieve, do you want to add anything?
She's a excellent addition to the office, and it really does work correctly and well with the three people that are in it.
And this agreement does include a buyout, should she choose to take that instead of our health insurance as well.
It does, yes, to incentivize if you have the ability to, for example, be on your spouse's insurance. And that does save the district quite a bit of money.
Any questions for Carl or Joe on the agreement as presented? Okay. I already did a motion, right? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Nays, abstentions. Moving on to new business. We take these ones individually, right?
I did them
Yeah.
that way, but
Okay. First up, we have the approval of Health and Welfare Services, Kingston City School District. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby approves the contract for health and welfare services with the Kingston City School District for the 2022-2023 school year for one student for an amount totaling $1,300. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay. And these are any student who attends school in that district, whether it be a private school, we have an obligation under law to pay a contribution to the health and welfare services. Yes. And we typically always get these in the spring. Correct?
We get them whenever the business office of whichever school gets their act together and sends them to us.
Great. All right.
Just out of curiosity, these only they attend school in New York State. Like if
That's all I've personally ever seen.
if a student goes to boarding school in Connecticut, we don't get a bill for that, right?
I don't believe so,
I've
no.
never seen one. I believe it's only New York State.
Yeah, and essentially with every one of these, there's a calculation as to how they figure out what that cost is, and it has to do with the number of students and their total cost of health services.
And they're obligated then to take care of a student at an independent school if they fall ill. Is that basically it?
Well, yeah, and they take care of making sure you have your annual physicals and shots, and all that stuff is done by the health office of the
Okay.
other school, of the public school.
Any other questions? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Next, we have the approval of Health and Welfare Services, Lakeland Central School District. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby approves the contract for health and welfare services with the Lakeland Central School District for the 2022-2023 school year for one student for an amount totaling $1,509.04. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on this one? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Next, we have a request for approval to accept grant awards from the Garrison Children's Education Fund. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, does hereby accept grants provided by the Garrison Children's Education Fund, GCEF, for the spring of 2023 for an amount totaling $33,348 as presented, and be it further resolved that the general fund budget be amended to reflect the donation for the funds to be used for the purpose set forth in the grants, and further, the district clerk is directed to send a letter of thanks to GCEF on behalf of the Board of Education for their award of grants. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
Awesome. And Joe, just before we move to a vote on this, what happens, these are programs that we did not budget for, that either teachers, community members wrote a grant in collaboration with the district, it was approved, GCEF funded it, and so our budget increases by that amount. It doesn't impact the taxpayers at all, the children get the programs.
Yeah, and this is the best way of recognizing it, for one. It gives us an opportunity to publicly thank them, but it also, it's very clear on the books as to where the money is and what it's used for.
Okay,
There's a pretty big list.
it's a huge list. Yeah.
A lot of field trips, the climate summit, some of the equipment that's in here, the
The rigamajig.
rigamajig. So it's quite a varied list.
I see GCEF will be funding our upcoming Youth Climate Summit, which is on May 12th of this year, and there's an evening component to that as well this year, correct? Which everyone in the community will be invited to, so that'll be a nice event. Do you have any questions on this one? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Okay, next I have a request for approval of agreement with the Devereux Advanced Behavioral Health. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District, upon the recommendation of Carl L. Albano, Superintendent, hereby approves the agreement between the Garrison Union Free School District and Devereux Advanced Behavioral Health for the period beginning July 1, 2023, and ending June 30th, 2024, as per a Student Individual Education Plan, IEP, and be it further resolved, the Board authorizes the Board President to execute said agreement. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Nays, abstentions. Next, we have a request for approval of budget transfer. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, hereby approves the budget transfer for April 2023 as presented at this meeting. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
And this is just to pay our electric bill, correct?
Yes, so we had one of the electric accounts, we just actually started getting bills from more than 18 months ago. And so this is to help us cover those bills.
Any questions for Joe on this? Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Nays, abstentions. Next, we have an approval of real property tax service contract. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, is hereby approved the real property tax service contract with Putnam County Real Property for the fiscal year of 2023-2024 as presented. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Anything you want to say about this exciting contract?
Well, it's, frankly, it's a bargain, really, with printing out the tax bills and preparing the rolls. They do an excellent job, and they're very pleasant to work with, so I would highly recommend it.
Any questions for Joe? All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Nays, abstentions. Come to our second public comment session of the evening. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Board member comment and other discussion. David, anything?
Gee, I was hoping that we'd be banning a book or something exciting tonight, but that just didn't happen, did it?
I'm trying, Courtney was so fast last time. I'm going for, I want to get in under that record.
I see.
I'm gonna start speed talking soon, but I wasn't allowed to have coffee, so don't worry. All right. Anything else? Thanks. Courtney?
The only thing we didn't mention tonight, and I guess it's because it's not done, we'll talk about it next week, is the Wish Tree Community Book Read, which I'd love to hear more about. I think it was brought about through the DEI committee, and I know Jocelyn worked really hard, and her name was listed on that list of GCEF grants, arranging for every kid in the school, every family in the school to get a copy of Catherine Applegate's book Wish Tree, and there have been read-alongs that have gone out every night, and I don't have a younger kid who's not super enthusiastic, but I hear it's going really well, and can't wait to hear more about it. So, but I think it's a really great thing that the school's been doing.
I'll just add to that, Mrs. Hamig, really has taken the lead with the DEI committee. I mean, they've all worked hard, including Jocelyn, but she kicked off the community read, and did a fantastic job. So maybe we could invite her to the next meeting, just to kind of give a follow-up.
That'd be great.
Or maybe even some students. So if you'd like, yeah.
I'd love to hear some student feedback on the community read. That would be excellent.
Okay, we'll
Great.
arrange it.
And, okay, I'll keep going, and then, anything else?
No, I'm good.
Kent?
No, I just wanted to reiterate that the community really should, I encourage everyone to go to the spring thaw if they can make it. It's a very nice event that annually kind of brings everyone together, from kindergarten parents all the way up to middle school parents, and pretty unique for the school, unique night for the school. So definitely, if you can make it, please do so.
6 p.m. at the Bear Mountain merry-go-round, yeah.
Merry-go-round.
With a bar. It's a great night. Okay. I will just add, in response also to the wish tree thing, that we had talked about possibly having students come to talk about their civics projects as well. Because I know we are making progress with the Seal of Civics
Civic
Readiness
Readiness,
projects. And those of you eighth graders will know more about this. But that'd be lovely if we can hear from some students on that for the board, so that we get to see all the work that's happening in the school. And also note that we didn't have a budget presentation at this meeting, which is why it's 7:46 and we're almost done. But we will have the budget hearing, thank you for those words, the budget hearing next week. And we welcome any and all people to attend in the community.
Is that the same rules as a usual meeting where there's not back and forth? Or?
So during a hearing, there is back and forth, so we can open it up for dialogue. We can answer questions, which can be more helpful to people if they have any. The budget, however, the board has adopted and is locked, so New York State does set the date for the budget hearing at a point in which we have adopted the budget, so it won't change.
But it is an opportunity if community members want to have a more robust discussion rather than just speaking their opinion, there is an opportunity there to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, but Joe does need to, he's required to cover certain financial aspects of the budget, so that'll be done, but of course, yeah, we could engage with the public more, so it's a good opportunity.
All right, that's all I have.
Sarah, could I just mention too, a reminder, we have set our dates for voter registration for May 1st and 2nd.
Now, to register to vote, do they need to come here, and what do they need to bring with them should they wish to register to vote?
If they're going to do personal registration here at the district and they're not already registered through the county, they can also register through the county, and then they're automatically registered to vote for the school budget and any board elections. But for here, they'll need to just bring a proof of residency and their ID. And
So
we'll
like
get them
a
registered.
electric bill or a lease, rental agreement, and their ID. And they can always call you and ask if they're registered, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, next, we're going to move on to executive session. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby enters into executive session for the purpose of receiving legal counsel. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor, please say aye. Nays, abstentions.
You win.
Really?
Set the new record.
We will adjourn executive session. We will adjourn. We will adjourn executive session without further action being taken.